Hell yeah, Richard. Richard's a man of the orphans, a savior.
Creepy accounts pretending to be kids. I came across a
Robin
reel
Hood.
randomly, and it's led me down this weird rabbit hole of people using AI or dressing up pretending to go to school. They all seem to have high heels, check images in them. Is this an age play thing or something more sinister?
What the fuck?
Literally anything helps as I keep trying to look for answers. This post was made to the subreddit r/Instagram by the user numerouscut792 on April 15th, 2024. It featured screenshots of 3 bizarre-looking Instagram pages they had encountered earlier that day, with OP expressing concern that something truly disturbing was happening with these users. And those in the thread agreed. What the actual fuck?
Spooky.
Found all of them and blocked them all. Truthsticks11 is seriously creepy to me. I've been trying to find more about them, but can hardly find anything. Very weird accounts.
I
to say
love
the
rabbit
least.
hole videos.
The 3 accounts apparently belong to 3 different children. However, when combing through their posts, the content seems to imply something much more bizarre was afoot. Something truly disturbing. This post would be the start of a story that would eventually be picked up and shared all across the online world, becoming one of the more notorious internet mysteries in recent memory, as these accounts revealed
send
an
it to
unending
me,
rabbit
Josh.
hole
We could
that is
watch
still
it
being
tonight.
traversed to this very day.
Is it about
in an ongoing
crime?
investigation into
I
one
like
of the most
crime.
depraved oddities ever found on Instagram. This is the emerging story of Smartschoolboy9.
Flat. You think the Earth is flat, Josh? Be so fucking for real right now. I mean, like, I'm down to hear you. Okay, no, what to say? Listen, I'm not gonna disrespect you if you think you found some evidence. Like, you know, I've been wrong before. I also like crime. You want to go commit a crime too? You know, commit some crime.
We'll return after these messages.
I'm open-minded to a lot of things. I'm very open-minded individual, and like I'm willing to hear people out, see proof. But flat Earth, like that's stretching it. That's just a little too much for me to like give a little. I mean, I'll be like, okay, let me hear what you have to say, but I don't know if I'll put too much weight into it.
Before we get too far down this rabbit hole, I want to first thank Obot for important try game change, but it gives her and even helping me safely support the QR code free, choosing to stay anonymous. This was the bio of the first account pictured in the
Blow our
Reddit
cover
post,
and get
an account named Truthsticks11,
it'll
which
be
was said to
blown,
be operated by
alright.
a 12-year-old boy and his mother. Back in October of 2021, the duo would make their very first post, kicking things off on a somewhat concerning note, though not for their own page, but instead another account on the platform.
Abdullah.
So, that's the account run by a man pretending to be a boy.
The video was created and posted by the
What
mother
the
for the sole
fuck?
purpose of warning others of a specific user who had been posing as a child online when, in actuality, he was a grown man who did this in order to get close to and exploit other children across the platform.
Ew.
It's the grim reality of this
All
online
these
world.
weird, creepy accounts have like 20, 30 followers that nobody knows about.
As predators will do just about anything to get closer to children, and it's a reality often unrealized or even ignored by parents, which makes it almost refreshing that this mother was out here trying to raise awareness. These posts would become the crux of the account early on. They would call out this user and their many accounts again and again, eventually going more in depth about what this person would actually do, claiming that they had a strange perversion to dressing up as a young schoolboy. Does he wish he were a young boy in a school classroom, looking nice and being successful at school? Yes.
What the fuck?
This theme of calling out online predators would remain consistent throughout the years on Truthsticks11. However, after some time, the mother behind the account began to use the page for its initially intended purpose, to share photos of her son. The photos began as normal, and would show this young boy studying at school, accepting awards from their principal, and even school presentations in which their son had attended, with
That's
the
not the
captions
same
often boasting
kid.
about how intelligent the young boy was. Though over time, the photos began to grow stranger.
What the fuck? Bro, that's so me. That's me with my big blue eyes and big lips.
They looked off, almost as if they were AI generated. And on top
You think so? You think they look off? It really is.
of this, they began to appear heavily edited in an almost inexplicable manner, with deep red lipstick often being added, which was enunciated by his face being turned pure white. This unsettling trend
Yep,
would
me
continue
for
from
real.
here, as with each passing post, The photos grew less authentic and more surreal.
Bro, what was she getting up to?
Until they became straight up disturbed, even sickening. These bizarre edits spilled over past just the images too, as the posts began to appear as disjointed collages,
What the
often showcasing
fuck?
multiple grotesque images.
Be titty when it comes to ideas. Know where you are. Spare school books and stickers. I blow loud raspberries with my lips and tongue, or I stomp my feet with my heeled mini school boots on. I bounce them on the school chair, hair bouncing all around too. What the fuck? What up, Umi? What up, Turk? This is a strange rabbit hole of people pretending to be children on the internet.
And paragraphs about how much this user loved school.
Me in a school classroom knowing I'm good. What? Me in the school classroom knowing I'm good. Boyhood and school focus.
And this wasn't the only shift either. At some point, the son behind the account began posting content that allegedly came directly from him, saying things like, "My really cool mom asked me if I'd like to post, and I said, yes please." He even shared supposed videos that he had filmed of himself, which were equally as unconvincing as his photos, and somehow even more chilling.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
The boy even shows off his singing in one of the clips.
What
Though
the
their voice
fuck?
sounds off. The account was overall anomalous and extremely off-putting. And though this content was visually
Uncanny
alarming,
Valley.
another aspect made it even more so concerning, as over time, many of the images began to resemble CP, showcasing these fake AI children in explicit positions, with their faces sometimes even being photoshopped onto scantily dressed adult bodies. One thing is
What the fuck?
blatantly obvious about the Truth Sticks
This is
account.
creepy.
The supposed child behind it is not
The
real.
fuck?
Even in the more passable photos at the very beginning, there's evidence to suggest that these were likely AI as well. And based on the disturbed, borderline illegal content that this page featured, it seemed more than likely that whoever was behind this page was not an innocent mother concerned for the welfare of other children, but instead, a predatory individual themselves. And this wasn't their only account. The second page featured on the Reddit post belonged to a user named GirlChloe12 and bore striking similarities to Truth Sticks. The
What the fuck?
page was also supposedly run by a child and monitored by their parent. Bizarrely, they also posted frequently about the dangers of online predators, with the wording of these posts and the editing being essentially the exact same as Truth Sticks, just not as over the top. These two accounts even frequently interacted with each other, thus providing a substantial link on its own, but by far the most compelling link between these pages
What the fuck are these pictures?
is one that is easy to miss at a glance, with that being a blatant obsession with high-heeled mini boots. These shoes were mentioned or shown in virtually every single post made by these two users. At playtime, I'm sometimes running around with my really cool heeled footwear I wear with my uniform. After coming home from school, education isn't over for the day once the blue blazer, gray jersey, neat tie, white shirt, tailored close-fit gray trousers, and black heeled mini boots are in the wardrobe.
What the fuck?
No matter what they discussed, school uniforms and mini boots were always a talking point, which adds
Very weird. Our dreams are getting haunted now.
confirmation to something that is already becoming apparent. This is fetish content, not too unlike the bizarre accounts in the Pipergate rabbit hole. Fetish content centered around children. And what makes the Chloe account so
What the
disturbing is that
fuck?
AI was seemingly not used, and rather, the images seem to be of actual children. Despite this disturbing distinction, these two accounts are cut from the same cloth, and all signs point to them being created by the same person. A person who, despite their constant warnings of the dangers of adults pretending to be children online, seems to be doing the exact same thing, as part of
What the fuck is this image? That's terrifying, bro.
some sort of fetish, the extent of which we'll discuss later. But for now, one thing was for certain. These pages were not run by children or their parents. So, who created them? Well, that brings us to our third and final account shown in that initial post.
Smartschoolboy9
was much the same as the other two accounts.
Bro had more followers.
They warned of online predators, obsessed over high-heeled mini boots and school uniforms, and posed as a child despite clearly not being one. But Smart Schoolboy was different in one key aspect. The person behind the account was pretending to be a child, but they were doing so in a much more apparent manner, as they didn't use AI or stolen images of other kids to form their identity, and instead, they used photos of themselves. In the images posted on the account, we see what appears to be a fully grown man, dressed in a schoolboy's uniform. His face is painted pure white and has bright red lipstick, and he's, of course, wearing high-heeled mini boots. Characteristics that were all
Some
utilized
fucked up shit right here. No, for real, bro.
across the other accounts. Only this time, it was done on himself, as he poses as a child, pretending to go to school, as well as pretending to go through other life events common for preteens.
What the
And the photos aren't
fuck?
even the most disturbing part, as the account consists primarily of videos.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Hey, let me know if you like school as well.
The videos are all incredibly off-putting. Some show him arriving home from school.
What up, vamp?
School.
Others show him claiming to be on the bus heading
It's an
towards school.
understatement.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm on the school bus.
And other videos showing him doing whatever this is.
What the fuck is going on? Dude.
With these strange sounds and the process of sticking his tongue out appearing to be part of his fetish. As much like the other accounts, his content is overtly sexual, in its own bizarre way.
Creepy as fuck.
In fact, there's a video of him with his full outfit on, where he shows himself staring into a mirror as he appears to pleasure himself, right out of view of the camera.
God, bro, this guy deserves to be put down. Flamethrower.
As he stares into his own eyes. This account is by far the most sickening part of this whole rabbit hole, and also the most important. Interspersed throughout his page are a few examples of what this individual's voice sounds like,
This is quite good.
which just so happens to be the same voice heard in the very first clip shown on the Truth Sticks account.
A man pretending to be a boy.
Meaning that this full-grown adult man is the one behind this entire rabbit hole.
Oh my
He's the one on these accounts
God.
pretending to be a child and their mother, getting some sort of sick satisfaction from whatever this is. And the worst part is, these
What
activities
the
aren't just
fuck?
kept behind closed doors. As we can see on numerous occasions, videos of him walking around outside in a public space, with his full outfit and face paint on.
Look at me.
What in the fuck? Oh, hold on, I'd burn it. They're British, brother. America does not claim this.
It's truly one of the strangest things that I've ever seen.
Chat, I know I'm not reacting as much as I normally do, but I'm genuinely just shook right now. Like, What the fuck is this?
And making sense of what this all is extremely difficult. But based on the information found from this first Reddit post, a few likely conclusions can be put forward. This man is clearly attracted to the idea of being a kid, and I think OP was correct when they speculated that this was some sort of age play thing, but it's also clearly much more than that too, as based on the images that he's created himself, he clearly has some sort of attraction to other children as well, as he's quite literally created faux CP, the likes of which is so disturbing that I can't even really describe it here either. He's creating fetish content, and he's using the likeness of children, and also some children that are clearly very real people, to do so. That much is obvious. But there was also the possibility that he was pretending to be a kid in order to exploit other children across the internet. At this point though, this was merely speculation, with much of the Smartschoolboy9 case remaining a mystery, and the rabbit hole was only getting deeper from here. Months after this rabbit hole was introduced to the online world, the story began to be shared all across the internet, most notably on the r/internet mysteries subreddit, where the case really took off.
It is so
there,
hot in my
sleuths
room.
began
Burn
uncovering
it
just
for
how
no
vast
reason.
this web of accounts actually was,
For
as
no
it wasn't
damn
just these 3
reason.
pages. No, there seemed to be over a dozen, and likely even more that we still haven't found, as he's created his own sort of community, his own little world,
What
where
the
across each
fuck?
page he pretends to be a child.
Chat, what if I'm Delulu and I did that with all you guys? What the fuck? Chat, are you guys real? Type 1 in chat if you're real, 2 if you're not.
With these accounts typically following each other and frequently interacting, seemingly to make these characters appear as though they have real friends. On one of these pages, 12 Stockwell Joanne, he poses as a 14-year-old girl, using more AI images to depict explicit positions of this manufactured child,
What the fuck?
which I obviously am not going to show here. Though much like his Chloe account, he also shows images of very real young girls. But this isn't the most concerning part of this account, as on numerous occasions he's shown images of children at a playground, which he may have taken himself. This fantasy of being a schoolgirl and taking part in
Holy fucking shit. That's fucking nuts. It's hot as fucking here. Okay, I burnt the fire, yes. See ya, Jish. Love you, bro. Chat froze, yeah, I'm trying to fix it now. I like how my chat froze when I asked if you guys were real and the chat stopped moving. I was like, is it actually all just a dream? It was just a dream.
these school-centric activities is something carried over throughout multiple of his
It's
accounts,
hot
with his most common
shit.
alias being Stephanie, of which he has numerous different accounts featuring that same name.
Yeah, I'm Stephanie.
This Stephanie character claims to be a 12-year-old aspiring poet, with accounts all across the internet, many of which showcasing examples of her poetry, which carries on those same distinct sexual undertones. I race to complete my poems when I've got an early start, heart racing, mixed rhythms, maximizing miracles, rice with rap, and on the map, my Kennington, London syllables, dancing though I know my underwear might show if I lean forward.
What the
Good.
fuck?
Stephanie Stansfield, 12. But digging even deeper, her poetry has even seemingly been
I
featured
turned
in
my
various
heater off.
articles and even newspapers, showcasing that this rabbit hole extends far past just the online world.
What
This
the
act is
fuck?
clearly their obsession, and he's been doing this for years, with the earliest examples that I could find coming from all the way back in 2018. And this Stephanie character seems to be his go-to alias, embodying it in even the literal sense.
What the fuck?
As in one of his many pages dedicated to this Stephanie character, he dresses as her, wearing
It gets worse. It gets fucking worse.
a wig
My
and a dress,
God.
as he pretends to be a 12-year-old girl. Almost immediately after this case began gaining traction, the true magnitude of this rabbit hole was revealed. Across every single account are countless depraved posts and oddities that all could warrant discussion, but by far the most important discoveries were those that didn't actually occur on his own page, and rather the pages of other actual children. Do you like school? I do. It is good. You have some cool shirts, but I have to wear school uniforms to school. It is nice, but casual isn't allowed, and it's quite hot here in the UK as the month of June suddenly got warmer. These are two examples out of many that show Smartschoolboy9 reaching out and attempting to befriend young children
What the fuck? He would comment on other kids' posts?
online. In one comment, he even warns a child about other comments from bad people, stating that it happens to most boys in our age group, but stay safe, stay cool, don't be dismayed by creeps. This is our best evidence that these accounts weren't just made for age play. No, he's actually posing as a child in order to make friends with other children. And given his overtly sexual interests and aversion to CP, it's not hard to gather why he was doing this.
Holy fuck.
And these examples are only what we found
Chat,
so far.
it just keeps
it's possible
getting
that
worse.
there are dozens or
Some
who knows,
haunted
maybe even
house
hundreds
shit.
of other comments out there, hidden on unknown children's accounts. This is predatory behavior. The man behind Schoolboy9 is a predator. And in case there was still any doubt of whether or not this was a sexual thing,
Oh, dark does it go.
here's what he had to say about being a 13-year-old girl. But have his tactics actually worked? Well, the frightening thing is, no one knows if he's actually been successful or not, or even what specifically he's looking for. We just know that he's trying to reach kids, as evidenced not only by his comments, but by the fact that he's solely following children on all of these pages. And though it's easy to look at these accounts and know that something is off, for children, it's not that simple, especially when there's
I don't know,
pages
bro. If I was a
showcasing photos
kid
of actual kids.
and I saw that
Which
stuff,
brings up another frightening
I'd be
detail.
fucking freaked
Many
out.
of the images he's used of children have not been traced back to their original creator, and some seem to appear for the very first time online publicly on this man's pages, which might mean that he was sent them privately. There's even one image that David posted on his schoolboy account, which shows another kid that he claimed to be on a playdate with, though it's impossible to say if this is real or not. For now, we just don't know for sure.
What the
Though given the
fuck?
fact that he's reaching out to children, posting fetish content centered around children, and has even potentially photographed kids in the wild, one thing is for certain.
In the wild?
Smartschoolboy9 needs to be stopped.
What the fuck? Kids in
Finding
the
this man and
wild?
reporting him to law enforcement quickly became the top
Real
priority
good,
for those
Lonnie.
investigating the case. And luckily, he left several glaring clues behind that made this process a whole lot easier.
Yo, chat's back on screen. Let's
On numerous
go.
occasions across his many pages, he would post images and videos of specific locations, even showing streets and mentioning very particular areas in his poems, all of which centered around the London area, immediately giving us an idea of where he was located. And that wasn't all. I mentioned how the alias of Stephanie was one that he used more so than any other, but what's interesting is that there was another name used just as often across his accounts, brought up time and time again, though it's a name that he never seemed to call any of his characters. Instead, he simply referred to this person as a stepbrother,
public.
or a father, or even a friend from school, despite never actually picturing him,
Easy
just mentioning his
recognizable.
name. David. And sure enough, after connecting a few dots, it would be revealed that this person's actual name was in fact David. David Alter, with the man being 59 years old. At the moment, it doesn't appear that David has any past criminal convictions
the
or documented history
fuck?
of this behavior, but we do know that thanks to the investigation done on Reddit and Discord, he is currently being investigated by local authorities, which will hopefully put an end to his online behavior and shine some more light on who this person actually is.
59.
As for the time being, the only other information that we really know about David is that he likes to write poetry and he makes music.
I think I hear a running tram going back in time, not out of time. I think I like a little lemon and lime. Say Mary Ann, hey Steely Dan, I like the sound of that running tram.
Jesus.
And his name also appears in a random newspaper, where he's discussing the importance of kids wearing school uniforms.
What the
And that's
fuck?
really all we have at the moment. Though there is one very important aspect that we have yet to talk about in relation to this man, with that being David's mental state. Some believe that David is a mentally unwell individual who
So
potentially
demonic.
doesn't know the extent of what they are doing. Now, even if this is the case, his behavior still needs to be stopped, and he needs to be
Does
given
no
proper
one
help
have
to
a
assure that
picture
no one
of
else
him?
gets hurt by his actions. But it is important to note
Like
that
with
David
the
is far more intelligent than he lets on, as his personal accounts show us that he is fairly well-spoken and articulate. And throughout his problematic content, most of his bad grammar and strange verbiage seems to be his attempts at more authentically trying to replicate a child. But it's impossible to know for sure. But what we do know is that David is extremely manipulative, with his response to the situation and other clues littered across his accounts showing us that he seems to know what he's doing, and he knows that it's wrong.
I want to see his actual face.
Since the exposure of David's accounts, he hasn't silently slithered away like most other predators would. Instead, he's actually responded on more than a few occasions, lashing out to those who have DM'd him, calling them the perverts and predators. He even left a comment on his Joanne account seemingly directed at himself, writing, "You are really sad. And if that's your name, David, be honest with yourself. You're 50, as you said elsewhere. You reply to me, a girl, as if I'm your buddy? No chance ever." This is something
That's crazy. Finish your beef curtains.
David does all the time.
Satan
It's
shut up my
projection,
door.
and it started all the way back at the beginning of this rabbit hole.
So, that's the account run by a man pretending to be a boy.
And he continued posting these predator exposés, along with other warnings about predators on the internet across every page he made, each of which being
Jesus.
hyper-specific to his own predatory ways and fetishes. The things he accuses others of are blatant projections of his own dark vices. And I can think of 2 reasons why. Number 1, that this makes his account look safer to other parents and children. It gives the appearance that he's not another internet creep, because he's actively calling
and the
them
pictures
out.
don't.
It's a way to build trust in order to befriend and exploit kids. And number 2, he knows what he's doing is wrong. And this is his bizarre
Girl.
way of self-reporting, probably to
Whoa.
make himself feel better about what he's doing. And it's obvious based on just how accurate these claims against others are to him. Does he wish he were a young boy in a school classroom, looking nice and being successful at school? Yes. And these claims are made over and over again, as each time he calls someone out, he's further exposing himself. Which becomes more concerning when you realize that these
Bro, so they can't, like, the British can't go kill this guy? They got all the information, they can't kill him?
projections seemingly
What's the
aren't
problem?
strictly pedophilic.
The pictures are more
Within
disturbing
those
for
eerily
sure.
familiar expose posts he made on Truthsticks 11,
Like, we
he
got him,
mentions how
take
this
him
user
out.
not only wanted to exploit children online, but they wanted to
What? I love beef curtains.
kill them as well. As he mentions that this user has a clear interest in cannibalizing kids,
What the? Bro, it did go demonic.
and even performing ritualistic sacrifices on them. And based on how accurate all of the other exposures are to himself, I have no reason to believe that this isn't part of his MO as well, as crazy as
Like
that may sound.
clockwork.
This also seems to coincide with some of the content he's posted
Bro,
that I can't
100K.
show you, as some of these
Do it
photos
for
show
free,
children
bro.
edited
Do it
in
for the
contorted
world.
positions, including some where he's added what appears to be rope to give the illusion that they're tied up. And what makes this even more disturbing is that on his accounts,
What
he's
the
posted numerous
fuck?
photos in the vicinity of schools, on nearby secluded trails, and even some where he discusses what time school starts and ends, saying that he likes to be awake and ready for it. There's even photos that show other children outside from a distance, almost as if David was
No,
stalking
you're
them.
right.
This is highly concerning. Even if we don't know truly how low this man's perversions get, he is still far too close to children, which is perfectly encapsulated by this photo of him on a school playground during the day. And with his disturbing desires,
And my boy Richard with the first gifted sub of the night. Chat. Shout out to Richard. If we hit 20 gifted subs, we're gonna go an extra 2 hours tonight. We're at 1 out of 20. Shout out to your boy. I appreciate you, homie.
I don't even want to imagine
He's
what
saving
he's
the
capable
orphans
of.
and saving the
Which brings us
chat.
to the final piece of content that I need to
He's
talk
Jesus. Jesus Christ.
about. Chasing another boy running in heeled mini boots. This was the text shown on screen during a short video posted onto one of David's many accounts. And in the video, we see the man pointing the camera at himself, showing his full face of white makeup and red lipstick. This video is edited more egregiously than any others I've seen across his page, with
What
multiple
the
explicit
fuck?
images and huge emojis covering the majority of the screen. Though just barely enough of the footage can be seen that shows David as he turns the camera around, revealing a young boy. who he then proceeds to chase after, giggling all the while. Whether this was an edited video or a real occurrence, we
Oh,
don't currently
hell
know.
no.
David's doings are a mystery that will take some time to unravel, and my hope is that law enforcement will be able to follow through and help shed some more light on this individual, and finally put an
Holy
end to his twisted
fuck.
behavior. But at this point, only one thing is for sure. The story of Smartschoolboy9 is far from over.
Hey, and 22 bits from your boy. I appreciate it. Another 5. Dang, chat, that's crazy. That's so scary.